My 20-inch 223 Wild custom build was purpose-built to be a heavy-hitting, full-auto lead slinger capable of putting accurate fire on target well past 1,000 yards. I wanted an unconventional yet capable precision rifle, and precision capability is what I received. This rifle started life as a 16-inch IWI Zion 15 rifle. I then swapped out the barrel to a Faxon 20-inch match-fluted 1-in-8 twist 223 Wild barrel. I topped the rifle off with a Vortex Venom 5-25 first focal plane scope and a Vortex cantilever mount. All furniture is from B5. The trigger is a Geisley Super Select Fire trigger and an M16 second sear. The muzzle device is a Silencer Co. ASR flash hider. The bipod I chose to run on this revised precision build is the Atlas Cal bipod. Coupling all those parts with my Silencer Co. Omega 30 caliber can has resulted in arguably the most accurate rifle in my armory. If you think 223 can't be used for precision, you need to think again. This rifle breaks the molds, crushes the soles, and drills the holes even past 1,000 yards. It might be small, but it is mighty. Let's dive into this. So before we get any further in the video, I want to do my disclosures like I do in every single video because I think it's important to be transparent and let you guys know if there's any companies, people, or products that I have been paid in any way, shape, or form to talk about on these videos. I think that transparency and that level of transparency is really important because I understand that when we're making a video like this, it can sway your opinion. And even though I attempt and I do my best in every single video to be non-biased, the reality of it is sometimes people want to get their product in front of other people. And in those situations, it's critically important that whoever is making the video is very transparent about that so that you can then weigh that information against what you're seeing to make a wise and responsible purchase on your behalf. So starting out with this entire build, the IWI Zion 15, which is the foundation of this build, was sent to me many, many years ago. That was probably around 2021. IWI sent the rifle out to me. There were no media contracts, and to this day, there still are no media contracts between myself and IWI, but the rifle was sent to me for free. Vortex did send the scope, and many years ago, they sent this cantilever mount as well. The Venom 5-25 was sent to me to include in the content. They did not provide any monetary exchange or any requirements as to what content that scope would be in. The only reason I asked for the scope is it's a budget entry scope. I wanted to be able to share an unbiased opinion of it, and that's why it made its way to the build. The Cloud Defensive Rain 2.0 Lite was sent as a gift from Sean, again, many years ago. I've never had a media contract with Cloud Defensive either. The Faxon barrel, the bipod, the trigger, and all the other components, including the can and the ASR flash hider, all of that stuff was purchased just like you would. I went on the website, I found the product that I wanted, and I purchased it. There were no other gifts in that regard. The Parker Mountain machine grip stop and the Magwell were a gift to me as well. Again, no media contract. So basically rounding all of the disclosures out, this rifle and this particular video, nobody paid me anything to talk about this. And if you buy any of the products that are on this rifle, I make no money from them. So with the disclosures out of the way, let's dive into the build. So why did I land on the Zion 15s? And why have I talked about the Zion 15s for so many years? The reason is it is a budget priced rifle, but it's built well, and the performance of them out of the box, in my experience, with the dozens that I've had my hands on and purchased and had through the company, they have always been extremely accurate. They have always done exactly what I wanted. They're gassed properly. They come with a 1-in-8 twist barrel. And overall, you're getting that premium rifle experience out of a rifle that typically in the street price lands around $1,000. In my opinion, you really can't beat it. And so that's why no matter what build I'm creating, even if I'm swapping the barrel out to a different length or I'm doing something different, I typically land on a Zion 15 because I know how accessible they are to regular people. You're not paying that premium price tag that you're gonna see with so many other top-end manufacturers. So that begs another question that I know some of you diehard TA Targets fans are gonna be asking. Why is this now different than the RPK of the Homeland that you talked about in your previous videos? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we did videos on this particular build because this one is a machine gun. I am running a 20-inch Faxon fluted match barrel. And I built it originally to be able to be a rifle that could be close to mid-range engagements. It has select fire capabilities. And because of that, I'm able to use it in more of an RPK style role without having the limitations of a real RPK. But I've now gone away from that. And the DNA of this rifle, although similar to the RPK build, is now focused on precision capabilities. And the reason that I did that is because the 20-inch barrel, this setup with this rifle, the suppressibility and the stability of it lends itself very well to be an entry-level precision rifle. And again, the reason why I'm talking about this so much is because I know that it's an obtainable rifle. So if you're looking to get into precision long-range shooting, starting off with a platform like this is a really good point to begin, and then you can tailor it to exactly what you want to do. So because of that, now the DNA is designed that whether I'm shooting 400 yards or 1,200 yards, this particular rifle is going to allow me the capability to do all of that in a very, very repeatable manner with a really high level of performance. So now let's talk about the first long-range precision class that I attended. It was the Haley Precision D5 Precision Rifle class. We were down at GTI, and I spent the first 2 or 3 days running this particular rifle for the precision shooting. I know a lot of the naysayers already are gonna be kind of bashing me a little bit because this is a 223. Why would you use a 223 in a precision rifle role, especially when you get out beyond 500 yards? And the thing that I'm gonna just encourage everybody with is it's because a 223 is capable beyond 500 yards. And that has been proven over time in combat. I know that the military likes to say that it's only really good to 500 yards, but the reality of it is capable with the right ammunition, the right bullet type. And on top of that, so many Americans already own 16-inch AR-15s. And I think we fall into this trap that because you have a 223 that you can't go learn how to do precision shooting. I flipped all of that on the head, and I wanted to prove to myself that learning with a standard AR-15 would actually be incredibly beneficial. And my reasoning behind that largely was because there's almost no recoil in a 20-inch AR-15 that's suppressed. And because of that, you can focus more on your body placement behind the gun. You can focus on what you're putting into the rifle, whether with your trigger hand, support hand, sandbags, things like that. Because it's not abusive to shoot, it's not loud, it's not violent, you're able to focus on what I believe matters most, and that's the form that goes into the rifle. So those first 3 days when I was running this, my objective was to learn how to calculate out at distance, how to hold, how to break the trigger without moving the gun, all of the things that are most important with precision shooting. And then I could take the skills and the foundation that I was building and build further into my larger calibers, which is what I ended up doing the other half of the class. But the performance of this rifle is incredible. This is by far the most accurate rifle that I own, period. I do not have another rifle that can stack rounds like this one, to the point where if I lay down at 100 yards on paper and I'm printing it and I put 12 round groups on paper, it is no joke, almost the same hole. It is a jagged, tiny little hole. The best group that I measured was 0.25 inches with 12 rounds. So that legitimately means that this rifle is a quarter MOA rifle that can then stretch its legs out consistently. Do you still have to hold like crazy? Yeah, I learned that in the Haley class, that when we're dealing with wind, when we're dealing with distance, when we're trying to call hits out at distance, sometimes 223 is difficult. But I walked away from that initial class knowing that a rifle setup like this is not only capable, it's probably one of the best ways that you could get into precision rifle shooting with the rifle you already own. And that's the best part about doing something like this. Now I want to provide enough data for you that hopefully helps you answer the question, should you be building a rifle like this? And again, yours might look a little bit different than what I've got here. But at the end of the day, if you're on the fence and you're wondering, should I get into precision shooting with my 223? These are the pros of a rifle like this that you should consider. So first of all, the low recoil means you can focus on fundamentals. If you get behind a 300 PRC and you're just learning how to do precision shooting, I'm gonna argue that that's probably a really bad idea because you're gonna get beat to death over a 5-day course. And probably what's gonna happen is you're going to actually have really bad habits that you're developing. You might even develop a fear of that rifle going off, which when you're out at 11, 1200, 1300 yards, could mean that you're throwing rounds 20 or 30 feet. So starting out with something that is very easy to shoot and very maneuverable is a really good idea. On top of that, a quality AR-15 can absolutely be as accurate as a bolt-action rifle. I know a lot of people are wondering and questioning whether or not that's even possible. And a lot of people get tripped up on the fact that you've got a bolt that's slamming forward, it's shoving rounds into feed ramps. And I've seen a lot of sort of hearsay on the internet of people claiming that an AR-15 in general will actually shove the bullet down into the case when it's working through the action. I have actually tested that on this rifle. I've chambered rounds multiple times without having the bullet seat further into the case. And that all goes back to proper ammunition build. So the ammo has to be the right specification. Your feed ramps have to be quality and the right specification. The bolt has to be quality. Your gas system has to be dialed in. And then on top of that, the chamber and the barrel itself has to be in spec. If all of that and the headspace and everything is dialed in on your rifle, you will have, assuming the barrel is high quality and the ammo is high quality, a rifle that shoots sub-MOA, even in a gas gun. So you get the accuracy, the lightweight, the low recoil, and the capability to reach out and touch. And you have the benefit that you probably already have a 16-inch rifle sitting in your safe. If it just has a red dot on top and you're like, I want to get into precision shooting, I would start with the barrel you have. So you have no other investment other than a quality scope. And that's the crazy part. You can get into precision rifle shooting very, very, very quickly. On top of that, a rifle like this is capable of defending your life. You can put a top mounted dot, offset red dot, and now you have a closer range capable rifle as well. You can take game with it. You can defend your life and property at distance. And the pros just are so heavy on this particular rifle. But I would be remiss to say that there are only positives with this rifle. There are some drawbacks that I think are important to consider. And most of those are going to be focused on that precision rifle role. So when we're out at distance and we're shooting really, really far with 223, the velocity, the light weight of the bullet, and the lower ballistic coefficient of a 223 round, it is harder to make hits at those distances, and you're gonna find that you have to compensate a lot more than a caliber like, or cartridge I should say, like 6 ARC or 300 PRC or 300 Win Mag or 6.5 Creedmoor, etc. So because of that, you have to do a lot of work when you're shooting at a distance. But that pro that I forgot to mention is, it's the same reason why a lot of people shoot 308, because you have to do a lot of math with 308 as well, because it's not really the most efficient round. However, when you're learning how to use a less efficient cartridge, and then you switch to a very efficient cartridge like a 300 PRC, all of the skills and calculations that you learned how to do are going to only help you when you go to that better performing cartridge. On top of that, the lighter bullet means that this particular rifle to me is not a big game rifle. Could it be used for big game? Absolutely, because you can put the round exactly where you want to put it. You can buy hunting ammo for 223s, and the 20-inch barrel is going to push out velocities that are a lot faster than a 16-inch. A lot of the ammunition manufacturers that put velocities in the back of the box are usually calculating them or measuring them off of 20-inch barrels anyway. So you have that ability if you wanted to, but it's not necessarily the best in that role. In addition to that point, this particular rifle, being as long as it is with a suppressor, is a little bit cumbersome to lug around. So you are taking away some of the advantages of a standard AR-15 by having a longer barrel and a suppressor. It is not very heavy. However, it is harder to get in and out of doorways. It's more difficult to walk when you're out in the field. It's just a very, very long rifle. And if you're looking for compact and fast moving, a 16-inch, a 14.5, 12.5, something like that may actually be better. But then, in my opinion, you're further sacrificing the ability to shoot distance with particularly the 223 cartridge. And that last note, because the velocities are lower, your energy downrange is very low. So when we're shooting out to 1,000+ yards, the energy on target is very, very, very low. And that's partially why it's hard to tell, even if you're hitting the target, unless you are running TA targets, steel targets, then you can hear the ring. But if you're shooting kind of questionable quality steel, it doesn't really ring very well. It doesn't move plates very well out over 800 or 900 yards. And because of that, you're not going to necessarily be able to call your hits as well as a 6-arc, a 6.5 Creedmoor 308 or 300 PRC, or any caliber that's bigger than a 223. But those negatives are very far and few between, and they don't really detract from the value of a rifle like this. So who should consider a build like this? Well, I would say if you're like me and you're very new to precision long range shooting, but you don't have a big budget, you can't go out and buy another rifle to just go out and learn, and maybe you already have a 16-inch 223 on deck, I would encourage you to start with that. When you show up to that first long range class, some people might look at you like you're nuts. Stop worrying about what people think. When I went to that Haley class, there wasn't a single person that judged me because I showed up with a 223. And if an instructor or students judge you for showing up with a 223, rather than going out and recklessly dropping $6 to $8 grand on a bolt gun, I think that I would personally question whether or not I'd be asking for a refund from that particular instructor, because that shows me that they have a poor mindset. And I don't really want to partake in a class that is going to belittle me for coming to the class to learn as a student with the tool that I have on hand that keeps me from recklessly spending money. On top of that, because 223 match ammunition is everywhere, it's easy to find factory Hornady match ammo and many other manufacturers as well. It's very inexpensive to get into. It is obviously more expensive than range ammo for 223, but it is obtainable to the normal person. So that would be where I would say this rifle is clearly built for that kind of person. On top of that, if you're not big game hunting with your precision rifle, you're just learning the skill and you want to build a good foundation, a rifle like this, again, is a very, very solid investment. That leaves one category of people that will say, I would never do this with a 223. And really, if you are one of those people that say 223 is not enough for me, it's not effective, it's not as accurate, whatever your excuse is, this might not be a good build for you. I would say that maybe you should check your mindset and put rounds to paper and prove that it's not good enough for you. But if you're just dead set against using a 223 in a precision roll, obviously this rifle is not going to necessarily fit your particular idea of a precision rifle. If you are shooting game that's larger than predators, coyotes, things like that, this rifle also may not be for you, simply because it doesn't have the energy, even inside of 100 yards, to effectively take down big game. And if you're just looking to get into a bolt gun, or you're more favoring of bolt action rifles, you don't really believe that gas guns are the right move for you, this might not be a good build for you. And last, if you are in a communist state that doesn't allow you to exercise your freedoms, and they hold you hostage to those freedoms, and you can't own a rifle like this, well then obviously this is not going to be a good fit for you. You might want to look into a bolt action rifle. So I'm curious what you all think. Is this a rifle that you think qualifies as a precision rifle? Would you consider building a rifle like this to add to your armory? If you were, what would you change on my build? What parts would you swap out? What things would you do differently? I want to know down in the comment section. I'd love to engage in a conversation with you down there. And remember guys, the best way to support this channel is to not only support the people that support me, so if you want to get a quality scope, a quality rifle, things like that. Again, I don't make any money if you buy any of these components, but supporting the channels and the pages and the companies that support me, and then letting them know that you saw about their product on my channel, does help them to reinvest in me. And selfishly, what that allows me to then do is create content that I hope inspires you to become better as a provider and a protector, just like we do over at TA Targets. And then on top of that, if you really truly want to support what we have going on here and our team, buying one of our steel targets over on the TA Targets website is the absolute best way you can do that. I do financially benefit from that, as does our entire team that helps produce these videos. This is not just me. This is an entire group of people that truly care about you and want to see you get better. So consider swinging on over to TA Targets. A little bit of news over there on TA. We just refined the pricing of the Mini ADAP target system. This is our most recommended and most purchased target system in the history of the company. It's also the target that I personally recommend to people anytime I get the question, what target should I buy first? So it's not a promotion, it's not a sale. We as a leadership team met, we looked at what the minimum margin we can make on that product is to be able to succeed as a business, and we took that pencil and chopped it down. So if you've been on the fence about TA products, Please check it out. I'm gonna put a link in the description. I'm gonna pin a comment as well with a link directly to the mini ADAP system. That's a phenomenal way to support yourself and support what we have going on here. I appreciate you guys more than you know. And as always, stay well, stay safe. I'll see you all in the next video.